Back, everyone. So today is going to be pretty short, something simple that everybody needs to know how to do. I mean, you can take it to a dealership to have it done if you want, have your friend do it, whatever the case is. But I think generalized maintenance is something that's kind of overlooked and really crucial on not just this car specific, but every vehicle. So today we're going to be changing the oil. I've got just right at 3,000 miles on the vehicle. I really wanted to change it a little sooner, but things happen in life, whatever. So we're going to hit the 3,000 mile mark. Um, and we're just going to kind of go over this. It's a very simple procedure, but some people don't know how to do it. So we're just going to walk through a lot of the videos, of course, that you see online. Somebody's got a shop and a lift, and they're placing up in there. We don't all have access to that. I do have a garage. I don't have a lift, but I've got tools and equipment all downstairs. But I kind of show this for just a normal person that may have to do this in their driveway. And so that's what I do. I have a carport, and I try to do everything I can out here for you guys to kind of give a little bit more real world. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this started. And we'll start with the items first that you need. So first things first, obviously the oil. I went with Motul 0W20. I know there's kind of a lot of talk back and forth between 020 or the 520, 530. I mean, there's loads of back and forth. I went with the 0W20 because this is what the owner's manual calls for. I went with Motul, never used it before in my life. I'm always been a castor oil guy. Ever since I was a child, I was always raised castor oil, and that's what I've put in everything. But it come really highly recommended online, the 8100. So I got this. And of course you need a new filter. Part number is the same as it's always been. I'll leave a link for all the parts that I have down in the description below, so you too can get this very easy. And then taped to the top here, if you can see, is a new crush washer for the drain plug. Okay, so you definitely need a new crush washer every time. New filter, new oil. This oil as well is supposed to have like a pull-out spout on it to kind of make everything a little bit easier. So we'll utilize that as well. A couple other things you might want is going to be some shop towels. You're going to make a mess. I promise you, you're going to get this crap everywhere. So that way you can wipe it, clean it up. And last but not least, a couple of ramps. Do you have to have this? Do you have to have ramps? No. But I don't know too many of us that's going to slide underneath this thing, okay? And even the ramps, honestly, it's going to be close, but it'll fit. Get this stuff out of the way and get it up on the ramps. Another thing that you want, don't have to have, highly recommended though, is a 3/8 drive or 1/4 inch drive, doesn't really matter, torque wrench, because you do want to tighten the drain plug to 30 foot-pounds of torque, okay? I picked this up. This is cheap. You can get it at Harbor Freight. As little as we're going to use it, this thing will work great, okay? It's like $20 as well for this tool. Stuff goes on sale all the time. You might be able to get it even cheaper. So definitely recommend picking that up. You're also going to want an oil drain pan, something to catch this oil. You need a 17 millimeter socket. And there it is, 17 millimeter socket, okay? Right here is going to be your oil drain cap and your filter, okay? I recommend doing this with the engine slightly warm. Don't go out just screaming in it and then come back and do this. You're going to burn yourself. Don't do that. So the cap, just twist it counterclockwise. Off this will come. Just kind of rest it off to the side here. And what that's going to do, that's going to help ventilate so everything can drain out. We're going to leave the oil filter itself on for the time being, okay? I am crawled up underneath this car, and you're kind of on the passenger side. And what we're looking for is this right here, okay? And this is, I'm going to use a regular wrench, or ratchet, I'm sorry, to get this off. I'm going to move my oil drain bucket out of the way for just a minute, just so I can break this loose. And remember, we're using a 17. All right, mine was on there pretty good. So we want to loosen it up. All right, cool. And then I can do it the rest of the way with my fingers. So this is where you're going to make a mess. have your oil drain bucket down below, okay, and have your towel ready to rock and roll. And just undo this the rest of the way by hand, and you're probably going to get messy, so just be ready for it. There we go. And just let that drain out, and that's why we have rags. Okay, so something that I see a lot of videos miss, and I wanted to bring to attention was about the crush washer. Okay, make sure that you're getting the crush washer off. Sometimes it sticks to the oil pan. That is a possibility that it sticks to that pan, or in like my case, you can see it right there. It's still stuck to the drain plug itself. Okay, so what I do, and please be careful when you do this, is take like a box knife, and you can wedge it right in there. I've already done mine, so it's loose, but you can wedge it in there and kind of pry it up, right? And the ring will pop loose. Because mine has a black ring of paint around it where they painted the whole thing, and the crush washer was stuck to it, okay? So make sure you get this old crush washer off, because if you don't, you're screwed. So on top of our other box, our new crush washer was taped to it. So we got to get that off. Make sure we have all the tape off of it, and then orientate it to the right direction. So I don't know if this is going to pick up, but there's a flat side on this side here. It's flat, and then on this side, it's kind of rounded, okay? And we want that rounded side to the top. The flat side goes to the bottom, rounded side to the top. That way, whenever you press it down, it smashes or it crushes that rounded side out flat, okay? And it makes a good mated surface. So the oil is just about drained. We'll go back up underneath the car. So the oil has pretty much all but drained out. It's got just the slightest little stream coming out. You probably won't even be able to see it. So make sure you have a rag with you. And then our new, or not new, our old drain plug with the new crush washer. And we're just going to thread that in there. What little bit of trickle of oil that's left coming out will cease. So we're going to grab our torque wrench that I talked about earlier, and we already have it set to 30 pounds. And so we're just going to tighten this back up. Okay, click. Right? So 30 pounds right there, and that's it. So we're back up top. We drug our oil out down bottom, got our jug out of the way. We still have our cap loose right here for now. And this might be hand tight, might not be. Mine is not. All right. So a couple dollars at Walmart, you can get just Hyper Tough brand, nothing great, but it'll get the job done. Oops, make sure you go the right way here with it, and off it comes. Now we got it hand tightened or loose. Off comes your old filter. I'd recommend set this off to the side. We need it here in just a minute. Take one of your rags and let's wipe this whole surface completely out. We want to make sure it's good and clean, right? Just like the fresh brand new oil we're putting inside, it's fresh and clean. Let's make the surface nice and clean. I'll hold this here for just a second. It's our new oil filter here. Y'all can see the part number if you need, but again, I'll try to put everything down in the bottom. It has a wrapping coating on it here, protective film. Make sure we peel that off, obviously. So the reason why we hold on to our old filter and this new one, this new ring is dry. We clean the surface, that's dry. So just take your finger and kind of rub around the old ring to get just a slight bit of oil, okay? You don't need much, but just a little bit. And then we're just going to apply just the slightest little bit to this. And that way, when we turn it, we're not making a dry surface to a dry surface and potentially tearing or ripping anything. You know, we don't want to mess this O-ring up. So this is just a slight bit of lube to help secure it down. Spin this sucker on and just do it hand tight. So once you have it pretty tight, I would recommend to just go ahead and give it just a little bit more, okay? And that should be it. We'll set everything off here to the side so we have a decent clean work area. going to pull this cap off here. All right, so one last thing here, and this is something I messed up. You want a funnel for this right here, okay? They're dirt cheap. I thought I had one here at the house. I didn't. Life goes on, so we'll do our best not to make a huge mess, and I'm liable to. The car, it needs 4.8 quarts, so just shy of 5 quarts of oil, okay? When you order this Motul, it comes with 5 liters in it, which is just a shade over, if this will show, it's just shade over 5 US quarts, okay? So what we need approximately is 4.8 liters. So this has about 5.3 liters. So, I mean, it has 5 liters in it, I'm sorry. And you need 4.8. So we're going to go down to about this bottom line here, approximately, and then we'll check it and see where it sits at when it's done. So we should be able to pop this ring. There we go. And pull this up. This is what kind of makes the Motul oil pretty cool. A nice little feature anyway that not many companies do. And I don't know why. All right. And we're going to try to do this and not make a huge mess, which I'm liable to do, but we're going to try not to, okay? Pray with me here. There we go. All right. Perfect. That's right at, I know it's not going to show up on the camera because I'm losing daylight, but it's right at half a liter. So you'll have a little bit extra left. Save this. I mean, you save up enough of these, eventually you could have yourself a free oil change. Or extra oil in between oil changes if you were burning for whatever reason. Lord, I'd hope not on a brand new rig. So, oil cap back on. This just goes finger tight. Okay, nice and tight. Let's get our tools up and out of the way. And we'll go ahead and leave the hood open. And I'm going to back the car off the ramps because we want a good flat surface. It's probably best to shut your hood for most people, but I'm going to come off of this really slow. There we go. Give it a second for the oil to distribute through the engine real quick. All right, let's shut the engine off. And then we will grab ourselves another clean towel. All right, so our oil dipstick right up front here, it says, mine's marked purple. I don't know if everybody's is or not. I don't know why it has purple marker. But anyways, it says engine oil on it. It's this front yellow one. Can't miss it, okay? So we're going to pull this out, wipe it down so we have a good clean surface. So on these, if you don't know, there's a dot here and a dot here. In between those two dots, this is the high mark, that's the low mark, okay? Anywhere in between those two is great, but just so you know what's high and what's low. Stick it down in there, let it sit for just a second, pull it back out. And if you can see, the mark is right here, about 3/4 of the way up, okay? So that'll be all right. And that's it. We'll shut the hood here. Everything else looks good. It's a good idea while you're here, check all the rest of your fluids, your washer fluids, brake fluid in the back, coolant, things like that. Just check them out, make sure they look good. Shut your hood, and that's it. Like I said before, I will leave down in the description, I'll leave a link to all my parts that I can possibly find for you guys. The ramps, like I said, might be an issue. You can pick them up anywhere, though. I don't know if Walmart still sells them or not. I'll look. Harbor Freight's going to sell them, things like that, right? Any local parts place will sell them. Hell, I even think like Lowe's and Home Depot sells them. So shouldn't be too much of an issue. And I'll leave all that down the bottom. I will leave a link because I purchased it makes it very easy for you through Import Image Racing. It's where I get all of my parts from. they sell that kit that sells the Motul 8100 with the oil filter and the crush washer, all three in one easy click. Okay. And I think it was like, don't hold me to this, but I think it was like $49 or $50, I think, for the kit. It'll be down in the description down below for you guys. And that way you click that, you know you have everything right. You got the crush washer filter and the proper oil in the right amount of volume. Okay. Makes it really easy. And then, of course, if you need any other parts, make sure you hit those guys up. Hit Dane up out at Import Image Racing. Him and his team take great care of me every time. Okay. So hopefully you guys like the content. Just regular daily routine maintenance that everybody should do. So stick around for the next stuff. Thanks.